Grab a six pack, sit back, and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back, and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back, and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back, and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Yeah, Cali, baby. Mexico's finest export. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 241 of the Drunk Dashers podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler. And joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I am doing pretty damn good, Tyler. I got to admit, man, it's like this has been a fun week in order to not only just check out what games I have left in order to try out before the whole Game of the Year stuff, but also I managed to at least play a couple of games over the past couple of days, so it has been pretty good. How about you?
Doing all right. Actually, I'm fucking freezing, man. It's really cold. I'm wearing a hoodie right now, and I have this giant, oversized Packers hat.
Yeah,
I'll have to take a picture of it. That I am wearing. It's very cold in my room. So I'm wearing my Talking Ship hoodie. I got winter socks on. I got socks underneath those on. I got sweatpants on. It's very cold. I had a weird conversation, or not really a conversation, but I was at work today, and I was telling Gil for the show I'm kind of like a supervisor slash line lead. Really, I'm a line lead, but I also am kind of a supervisor slash manager slash secretary slash bitch of my department. And one of the newer line leads that's been there for a couple months now, and still kind of training. We were talking, and I was trying to do something in my way, and I was in a hurry, and she's like, "Oh, well, I need help with this." I'm like, "Well, I'll help you in a minute, but I gotta get my shit done first because it's very time sensitive." And someone made a comment about something. I don't remember what it was. And she said something, and I don't know why it's stuck in my head. I don't really know how to feel about it. She's like, Tyler. She's an older lady. And she's like, that Tyler. Sometimes he's funny. Sometimes he's an asshole. But he's always helpful. I'm like, okay. All right. I didn't know if I should get pissy about it or I didn't say anything, but I don't really know if that's a good thing or not.
Oh, man.
It's really weird.
Well,
but it's affected me in a way that I didn't know that person was capable of doing. So, yeah.
Well, at least it was overly positive.
Yeah, I guess. At least I'm funny sometimes, but I'm also an asshole sometimes. So, I don't know. Whatever. But anyways, yeah, other than that, I'm doing fine. You know, it's getting crazy. At work, we're officially kind of, I thought a couple months ago we were officially in the busy season, but apparently that was just preseason. Football, every sport has a preseason. Mm-hmm. October, November was our preseason. December is season started. So, crazy long hours now. That's no fun. Been working on my Game of the Year list a little bit. That's not been as fun as I hoped it would be. Yeah, spent probably about an hour staring at a page throughout the week a little, and then probably I don't know how many more hours thinking about what's gonna go in what order. So yeah, that's not been as fun of a process as I've been looking forward to. But the whole idea of making a Game of the Year list is fun. It's like Extra Life. In theory, it's really fun. It's really cool. But the actual practice of it, and actually doing it, not as fun. Not nearly as fun. I'm gonna keep doing it because it's still in the grand scheme of things, it's really fun and exciting to do. But the pre stuff, that's a lot harder than I thought. But we'll be doing that here in a few weeks. I just gotta talk to Justin, and figure out a time when he's available so we can all get together and do that show. So That's probably, I don't know, 2-3 weeks out or so. So I'm excited for that. It's always fun. It's my favorite show of the year to do. Just kind of fun hearing everybody's list and then kind of having a conversation about it and all that. But anyways, Gables.
Yeah.
This is a video game show where we talk about video games, and it's been a pretty crazy week for what's going on in gaming for December.
Oh yeah.
Almost like a mini E3 in a way of just news. A lot of it we talked about last week. There was a PSX event, and then there was the Video Game Awards. I think the Video Game Awards was a lot bigger than we thought it would be. I think PSX was a lot less than what we thought it would be. So I think it might even out in the end. So before we really get into what we've been playing, I think it's kind of maybe we should jump into some of the bigger stuff with the news going on. There's a few small things before we get to PSX and Video Game Awards, or the Game Awards, not the Video Game Awards. That's Spike TV's thing. Was Spike TV's thing. Some stuff came out before that earlier in the week. Some smaller items. First up, so Ubisoft announced a delay of 3 games. Far Cry 5 is supposed to come out February 27th. Has been pushed back a whole month to March 27th. The Crew 2 was supposed to come out March 16th. It is now being pushed back to the first half of the fiscal year of 2018. So that means anywhere between April and September of 2018. And also a unannounced franchise sequel, which was supposed to come out in somewhere between the fiscal year of the 2018 fiscal year, so anywhere between April of 2018. I almost said this year. I almost thought this year was 2018. Almost is. So basically, anywhere between April of 2018 to the end of March 2019, that game has been delayed to the fiscal year of 2019. So that means anywhere between the April of 2019 to March of 2020. So kind of what came out of it, and there's been some rumors. It was Watch Dogs 3, was Beyond Good and Evil 2, was Division 2, but according so basically there's a statement came out according to Ubisoft. This is from the publisher. It says investing more time in development of these games. There's a reason why they're doing it. This decision is in line with our strategic vision of developing even more engaging and higher quality experiences for gamers. Taking more time with Assassin's Creed Origins enable our talented development team to fully express their creative vision. As expected, this has a very positive effect and positive impact on the game's quality and largely participated in its commercial success. Taking a similar approach, we have decided to invest additional development time in 3 upcoming games.
Oh man, just all that thought just going circulating right there. It's like with Ubisoft as the game developer in this situation and stuff. Obviously, yeah, that's probably a lot of what they're doing is like try to like polish things here and there, especially with games like if like a major release, say like Far Cry 5, yes. But at the same time, I think they probably did that more so or less, potentially seeing some of the lingering effects of possibly what they could have been implementing inside the games in comparison, say what happened with the Star Wars Battlefront 2 by EA. Maybe they had to try to restructure a lot of, like, say, the microtransaction stuff that they were probably going to implement in some of these upcoming games that they had. But what's really strikes me as kind of odd and stuff is, like, not so much like, say, a month out for Far Cry 5, but, like, an unannounced sequel game right there. I mean, yeah, we don't know what the hell the game is. I mean, for all we know, it could be, like, something... It could be just something, like, random that we weren't even expecting, like, say, like... Well, like you were saying before, like, well, I think we would be expecting, say, like a Watch Dogs 3 due to how successful the Watch Dogs 2 was.
Yeah, it was.
But, oh God, what comes to mind is, like, I don't think that it would have been, like, say, Beyond Good and Evil 2, only because it's, like, the trailer was released in terms of, like, say, the past E3, but that definitely does not have like a lot of time in terms of like development cycle for that style of game that's been in limbo for a while. So more than likely it probably must have been either, oh boy, what was another one that they basically were talking about? Gosh.
Division 2 was kind of a rumored one. Like maybe another Tom Clancy game. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know. I can't really think of any other franchises that they have. Those are like that would be obvious. Like, I don't think it'd be another Assassin's Creed game.
Oh no,
no. Soon.
It would have to be some sort of a Tom Clancy game. So it's probably either like Division 2 or maybe like another Ghost Recon like Wildlands stuff. It's definitely like the type of game where it's probably going to be something more massive. Considering how well that Ghost Recon like Wildlands did for sales-wise the beginning portion of this year, they probably took the data information upon what worked inside that game, especially the after-game content, which they definitely had sort of like Destiny-ish sort of like mission structure things. And to be perfectly honest, that community is still thriving pretty good, considering like how long it's been out still. But honestly, if I had to put my money on anything, I would bet it's probably a sequel to Ghost Recon Wildlands that they're probably like possibly thinking about like potentially having a release in 2020, because it kind of makes sense that way. I mean, the game itself wasn't like a bad game at all. I mean, there were some graphical hiccups like how Ubisoft generally does with their open world games, but a lot of the structure, a lot of the hierarchy things is like, yeah, that was a pretty decent experience in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't think it would be Wildlands, because I mean, you're talking at that point, I mean, the original release date would be a year and a half later.
Yeah.
And the way Ubisoft has been, actually, with like some of their more online stuff, look at like Rainbow Six Siege. They just announced year 3 plans, and Division has this right now going on as a big free play weekend because they released a bunch of content, a new big update for it. So they've been doing a good job of giving their online games a pretty long life cycle. So
yeah,
I don't know if Wildlands is gonna be that way, but I wouldn't be. I think Watch Dogs 3 would make the most sense. Right. And this is something I've been pushing for this since like towards the beginning of the show. Like, not this show, like this current show we're recording right now, but when we first started doing the show almost 5 years ago. Like, this is something since before even the first Watch Dogs came out. I'm like, I think it would be so cool that if we, instead of getting Assassin's Creed every year, to avoid burnout, which eventually happened, and not even so much burnout, just the games weren't finished and the quality kind of dropped there for a while, but put them on a rotating schedule. Give us Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. Just flop them every year, and it sounded like after Watch Dogs 2 came out last fall that was kind of the path they're going with, and this game was supposed to come out in the next fiscal year, which would probably make sense, be next fall for that game. Maybe it's Just Dance 2018. Who knows? I don't know. But that Watch Dogs 3 made the most sense. That makes the most sense to me. Beyond Good and Evil 2, that was just kind of re-announced at this past E3, but there was no content, like gaming content. It was just a CG trailer, so I highly doubt that game was anywhere near being done.
Oh man, that would definitely be funny though if it was like a Just Dance game. But
yeah.
You mentioned like Just Dance like 2018. This may be a little bit off topic for the moment though, but that I did see for sale Just Dance 2018 for sale over at like Walmart today.
Yeah.
And you would not guess the console that they're still releasing that game on.
Probably Wii U. Wii?
Oh no, it's not the Wii U. It's actually the fucking Wii.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They are still releasing. Ubisoft is still releasing Just Dance games on the original Wii. I see about 7 or 8 copies at my Walmart today, and I'm like thinking, who's buying this? Who is buying this still? That console has been out of print now for like since the freaking, what was it? The Wii U started going strong?
Yeah.
Like
probably
a year
like
after?
2013 or 14, probably.
Yeah. And it's
Well, I mean, you look at like I remember the Madden, like the old EA Sports games would be released on the PS2 and original Xbox till like 3 or 4 years into the new generation. So
yeah, I know. The third parties normally would keep like a system alive on live support until then, but it's like it's so weird seeing like all the other like current games. All of a sudden, you see like a new Wii game come out, and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's. I mean, like I think we talked about last week on the show. There's still like Wii U games coming out on the eShop, and like,
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. That's it. There's got to be an audience, I guess, to it. I mean, it makes sense. Probably for a Just Dance game that's about like physically moving, that probably makes the most sense for the console because the Kinect's dead.
Yep.
The Move is dead.
Yep.
So this is like the only motion thing left. I don't know about. I imagine that you can do a lot of that with the Switch, but yeah. Ugh. I don't know. I think Watch Dogs 3 makes most sense though for going back to the topic, but yeah, I don't. It's hard to like. It sucks when a game gets delayed, but I mean we don't know what this game is. Like I'm really excited about Far Cry 5, but that's a good point though. I didn't think about the microtransactions thing actually. Like that could be a thing. Like seeing the backlash, and there's a little bit of backlash I think for the Origins ones for Assassin's Creed. So
Yep.
that makes sense. And also, I mean, I think they're a little gun shy still with like with Assassin's Creed Unity. Like they don't want one of those on hurting their franchise like that. That did a huge number to the Assassin's Creed franchise. Like so bad that it took a whole year off for they can come back. And even then, there were still a lot of doubts and concerns about Assassin's Creed. And so yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll probably hear more about what that. We'll probably have a good idea what that game was around E3 or so. But
Yep.
it's hard to be upset about. Delays are always a good thing for games. So yeah, but moving on. I think this one might be more for you. But Mega Man 11 was announced.
Yes.
They're like celebrating. I think it was like the 25th or 30th anniversary of Mega Man, and they I think it was actually a 30th anniversary. And they were doing like a Twitch stream celebrating it, and they officially announced Mega Man 11. There was a trailer. This one's going to be out in late 2018, and it's going to come to pretty much everything: Xbox One, PS4, Steam, and the Switch. And this one's actually going to have 4 different difficulty options.
Huh.
So Mega Man's not my thing. I played the GameCube version that was based off the cartoon. The Mega Man Network or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, Mega Man Network was definitely the name of probably the game.
Yeah, like Battle Network. I don't know what it's called. But I don't know. I mean, are you excited for another Mega Man game?
Well, here's the thing. Inside the announcements that Capcom made during that little stream from Mega Man's like the 30th anniversary or so, it's like Mega Man 11 was probably one of those ones where I was just checking out the footage. It's like it kind of looks sort of weird because it's kind of similar to that of like the 2D style of it, but the art style and everything else kind of reminds me of sort of a kind of a hybrid 2D 3D sort of like side scroller, which it doesn't look readily as pretty, but it looks like it's going to be more traditional to, say, the difficulty of Mega Man games from the past. But I was more excited about what was coming out onto the Switch. Inside that same announcement window, we not only had confirmation of Mega Man 11, but we also had confirmation of the Mega Man Legacy Collection, Legacy Collection 2, and also an actual other new reveal. There was a Mega Man X collection that's coming out for not only PS4 and Xbox One, but also Switch as well. And that, in of itself, makes it a lot better in order for me to digest, because with the release subsequently of, say, both the Mega Man Legacy collection things on the Switch downloadable, it brings up the option. I think it may actually lead to an option where we may see other sort of old Capcom games coming on that have releases past year, like say the Disney Afternoon, like for the PS4 and the Xbox One, which are quintessentially NES games.
Yeah.
That are not on a Nintendo system, which that's kind of funny. But yeah, just I know it sounds weird, but even after so many iterations of like a game releasing on like newer systems and stuff, I always seem to be attracted to playing old games that I probably should not be playing because there's new content to be played. I spend the money, I go through and I buy the games again, download them on my system, I still play them because, hey, they're tried and true. They're like classic games for a reason, and that's pretty much why, the gameplay stuff. And that's exactly what I want when the Mega Man X collection comes out on the Switch, because I want to play through Mega Man X 1 and all the way through X3. You know, it's like, I don't care if there's like 8 or 9 different Mega Man X games. It's like the first 3 are pretty much the most memorable because they were on Super Nintendo and the quality wasn't like suffering as a result. But yeah, I'm excited about all this news. You know, it's something that we've been leading to over the past, God, ever since Keiji Inafune, the creator of like Mega Man, left Capcom. So they've been really silent upon like the Blue Bomber up until now. But
yeah, sorry, I was mid drink when you finished talking. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Mega Man fan, but I think it's obviously cool that we're getting more third party support for the Switch. My only hope though is it's not as kind of bullshit as what the Street Fighter release they had back in like April or May, where it was like what $40 for like the 19th release of Street Fighter 2. And they added like Dark Kin and stuff like this, as like they're just like, hey, it's your favorite character, but now he's like it's like it's a new character, but he's actually just like a different skin character, like it's a different outfit, and charging $40 for it, like they did with with that game. So I hope. Go ahead.
It's like Capcom as a company can't really afford another misstep like this. You know, it's like, if they're really like concerned about their financial stuff, which there's rumors that they're still like they're kind of like hemorrhaging certain funds and stuff, especially after the all the crap surrounding like say Street Fighter 5 in terms of the sales stuff not doing so well, and like not so much in the competitive scene, but like just in general the sales wise. I mean, they are definitely making good steps in terms of trying to recapture some audiences stuff. Yeah,
and they're definitely commercially and kind of from a customer satisfaction looking at it, like they're not doing too hot. Like,
yeah,
I mean, Resident Evil 7 was did really well review wise. People loved it, but it didn't sell anywhere near where they wanted to. It sold really well. It was almost 4 million copies, but it's still considered a disappointment by Capcom. I think in the end it made its money back, but it wasn't as big as they hoped. I know the Street Fighter they released on the Switch was pretty successful. I know
it was.
It sold over 500,000 copies in the first month. So, but that was, early first few months of Switch where there was nothing to play on it. People were dying for games. Now they're releasing like 20 to 30 games every week. We were talking about for the show and like looking at like we found like a top 10 worst games on the Switch, and it's just like now we're seeing all like it's turning into like the PlayStation Store, where it's like anything and everything. Like we're seeing dollar shitty iOS and Android games are now being ported over to the Switch for $5-10. So when people are no longer starving for something, for games and content on their Switch. Not saying this stuff is like from like the quality maybe is worse now than what's ever been for the Switch as far as like what's coming out, but quantity wise there's plenty of options on that thing now. So it's not like, hey, like this weird game no one's ever heard of is on the Switch now, guys. Everybody go buy it. Like I remember when Kamiko came out, like it's a really good game. It's like $5 game. But like that was fairly, not I want to say huge news, but it got some press clippings and people were talking about it when it came out. If that game came out now, it would be buried. So this kind of stuff coming out, like it's Mega Man, it's Capcom, it's gonna be bigger, but we're no longer in the point now where people are starving for games to play on their Switch. Especially a year from now, they're not. I don't know if they'll be able to get away with charging $40 or charging an absorbent amount of money for that game on the Switch. The Switch tax thing might not be you might not be able to play that game in 2018. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really mean for it to turn into that, but that's kind of what happened. And I hope that's the case because obviously Capcom's pretty big, and we don't want anything, we want them to stick around. But moving on to another one. This one's more for me actually. I'm actually really excited about this. But a new Tomb Raider game was officially announced. It was announced in a weird way. It was just announced on the Tomb Raider Twitter page.
Yeah.
They announced it Thursday morning, the day of the Game Awards, but it wasn't at the Game Awards, and they said it wouldn't be. But there was a someone came out from Square Enix and kind of said they're taking a new approach to Tomb Raider this time. About they're not gonna with a different rollout plan, unveiling the game ahead of release. The publisher is shortening its typical marketing cycle. I'm reading off of an article now, but from IGN. But basically, what one of the people from Square Enix said, driven by our goal of putting our fans first, we want you to know that it won't be very long between the official reveal and when you can play. The company added, our journey together will begin with a major event in 2018. This may be a reference to the upcoming release of the new Tomb Raider film called Tomb Raider, which is coming out in March of next year. So maybe it sounds like the game might be coming out in 2018. The last game came out in 2015, so about you're talking 3 years there. And this game has actually been talked about for a while now. It leaked back in last October 2016, so over a year ago, where somebody was like, someone saw somebody working on a laptop on a train or a bus or something, and it was like a presentation, and it was a game called Shadow of Tomb Raider. So it's kind of like the worst. People have been like anticipating this game being talked about for a while now. And what's funny is the Twitter, the tweet that was sent out from the Tomb Raider page, the first letter from each sentence spells out shadow. So it's a weirdly worded tweet. Like, doesn't really, like, the way it all ties in together doesn't make sense. And then someone pointed out on Twitter, like, yeah, the first letter each spells out shadow. So yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny and pretty. It's pretty. That was pretty good. I like that. But I love the Tomb Raider games. Rise of Tomb Raider was an awesome game. If I would have played it in 2016, or 2015, I'm sorry, I played it in 2016. If I would have played it in 2015, more than likely would have been in my top 10 games of the year. That game is when I played on the original Xbox One, it was probably one of the best looking games that I played this generation. I imagine if you played on a Pro or an Xbox One X now, it would be even better looking. Yeah, I love those first two games, and I'm excited for another one. And we're gonna kind of skip ahead to the PSX stuff just because there's not really a lot going on with that. So a few things came out of it. They announced it, like, they said it wasn't gonna be the typical press conference that we've had in the past, where they came out and did like a mini E3 type thing, but it was more like, and we talked about a little bit, I think a week or two ago when we were talking about PSX, that it's more like for the hardcore fans. We're gonna talk about like shit that only like real big time hardcore gamers would know, and they would mention the Vita a lot. And when they mentioned the Vita, people would cheer. Well, they had no such thing like that. I don't believe the Vita was even talked about. But it was more of like a 3-hour, like, they were on stage, and it was like a 3-hour long like interview with like just like interview stuff, and they were talking to different developers and different people in the for games that they're working on for PlayStation. And there's only a few like trailers shown and a few announcements. Wipeout VR was announced to be coming out. Medieval, the PS1 game, is being remastered in 4K in 2018. I guess God of War is going to be a 25 to 30 hour long game. Death Stranding is actually a game. It's apparently one of the execs said they played 4 or 5 hours of it. And last but certainly not least, Last Guardian VR is coming on December 12th. It's free and it's going to be standalone, so you do not have to own Last Guardian to be able to play it. It says it's PlayStation's Christmas gift to us.
Okay.
It's like I guess it's only like a 20-minute experience. Don't you fucking say okay like that, Gables? Okay. You know what? Don't you disparage the name of the game of the generation, Last Guardian? Okay. Okay. Son of a bitch. Fucking. So I've been talking about for like a few months now about how I'm not lying there about getting a PSVR. When I heard about this, I didn't watch it because it didn't start till I was telling Gables for the show. Like, it didn't start till 10 o'clock Central Time, which is my time, and not my time, but that's the time zone I live in. I don't actually own a time, but I've been like on that line. I'm like, oh man, I really want to get. There's game. We talked about last week when we were talking about the people getting the 2-week trial, and I'm like, I would love to take them up on that offer. Like, man, I think after the holidays and early next year sometime, I'm probably gonna pick up PlayStation VR. Like that. That's it, man. Last Guardian VR is that game, man. It's I gotta get it, man. I gotta go back. I gotta see Trico again.
Here we go.
So, ooh, buddy, I better go get some Kleenexes and some tissues and some PSVR because I'm probably gonna be able to ball like a goddamn baby again. But I don't know. Fuck, goddamn, that's so cool to me. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. There's like a 30-second teaser for it. Yeah, that's cool. I'm there now. Oh, I'm geeking out. I read that at work today. I about fucking like lost it in the break room. Like, I was like Kel from Kenan and Kel with orange soda. You know what I mean? Like, who loves Last Guardian? Tyler does. Is it true? I do. Ooh. That was me, basically, on the inside, not on the outside. But yeah, I thought it was cool. Overall, kind of disappointed because I actually really enjoyed PSX. About kind of the show, but now it makes sense because we talked about a couple months ago with Paris Games Week when they had the press conference there. They basically pulled all the things they were going to talk about at PSX to Paris Games Week. So they kind of left them with nothing to talk about here. It sounds like.
Yep.
I was hoping for some release dates for because God of War. I mean, it sounds like the release date leaked. I think on the PSN store for a little bit. The release date of God of War, because you can pre-order on there, changed to like March 23rd. For like a couple hours, and then they switched it back to December 31st. So placeholder date. So that was a couple days ago, and people were thinking, oh, they're going to announce a date. And every main God of War game, all 4 of them, if you include Annihilation, have it released in March. So that makes sense. It's supposed to come out in early 2018. So, I mean, Shadow of Colossus comes out February 6th. Oh, we did see some Shadow of Colossus stuff. They showed some comparisons from PS2, PS3, and PS4. They announced it's going to play. If you have a PlayStation 4 Pro, you can play it in 4K at 30 frames per second, or you can play it in 1080p at 60 frames per second. Don't know why a PS2 game can't play in 4K and 60 frames per second, but whatever. So that's a thing. I don't know, Gables. Anything kind of out of that get you excited?
It's kind of interesting to see. I think it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to be doing with Medieval. I mean, that franchise is over 20 years old, right? And it's there hasn't been a major anything from that franchise since there was like a PSP game on it, and that was like a thing from like the original PS1 release. So I'm kind of interested in see that, but other than that, it's pretty much kind of like more of like the type of the same that we've already known already, or other than like say a few surprises, like the Last Guardian stuff, which I obviously know that you're going to be into, but
you don't know that. There's no evidence of me being excited about Last Guardian ever. He says as he has a Last Guardian statue within arm's reach of him.
But to be perfectly honest, though, a lot of the fluff from the PlayStation experience, I didn't really have a chance to watch it because I didn't know that anything really remarkable actually happened inside the thing, because I didn't hear hardly anything from, like, say, some of the social media feeds that I was following. But, yeah, in comparison to, say, like, the Game Awards stuff, man, I mean, it's just kind of a no-brainer, like, what a large amount of the gaming information this week came from.
Yeah. I guess we can just jump on into it. Game Awards happened Thursday night. A lot of stuff came out of that. Not only from the awards part, I mean, it's hard to argue with any of those awards. A little upset that Horizon Zero Dawn didn't win any awards. But it's hard to argue anybody that, like Breath of the Wild took Game Award, the Game of the Year award. Can't really argue that.
It took 3 awards.
Mario Odyssey took 1. Kingdom Battles took 1. I know the Switch games took 6 overall.
I know. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah. Been a great year for Nintendo. Has won this year by a landslide. And that's saying something, because I think the other two the big three have had really good years this year too. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue overall. I was really happy to see Melina won for Hellblade, doing Senua.
Oh,
That was kind
yeah.
of cool. I didn't know that, but the fact that I knew that she was actually just someone that worked in the studio. She was a developer. But Melina won best voice acting performance for playing Senua and Hellblade. For people that don't know, and she was just a developer. She was actually a placeholder. She wasn't
Yep.
supposed to be the final person to play Senua, but she did so well at her performance that they just kind of kept her in there, like, hey, you're actually gonna play Senua. And the cool thing is that for her outfit that she wore to the Game Awards was just her mocap outfit.
Yeah.
Had the little balls on them and everything. It was actually a really cool touch. Don't know how the other four nominees felt to find out they lost to someone that's never actually acted in their life. But
That's actually the most craziest part about it, because you could
Yeah.
tell she was not expected, that she didn't expect to win that type of award, you know, because it's like, yeah, she's all nervous and shit. She's like, just like trembling, like on the stage and everything else. It's like, holy shit, you know, it's like,
yeah,
wow.
I was rooting for her. I voted for her when I did, because it was like they did fan voting for this. I voted for her, but I was hoping for her or Ashley Birch from Horizon.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that was awesome. And Joseph, I can't remember his last name. The fuck the Oscars guy from a Way Out. Remember that guy was fucking smash, man. I don't care what
He either was incredibly drunk or something, like really just like, or he's just really that passionate in real life, man. Otherwise, that was probably one of the most epic rants I think I've heard on that fucking award show in quite a long time.
Fuck the Oscars, man. Fuck the Oscars, man. This is great. Yeah, it was. What was funny though is someone was saying there was like a leak from like some EA execs emails, and they're talking. There was an email released earlier in the year about him, saying that his personality is second to none, but he's a controversy. He's just a controversy magnet, basically. He's very passionate.
Oh boy.
But sometimes he can go a little off script sometimes. It seems like I can see where he's coming from. Like, it was a cool moment, but I can understand, like, maybe we don't let him loose too much. We kind of keep him a little close.
You could
a little more.
You could tell like something's going awry if you like just see the facial reactions and everything else of Jeff Keighley as that went further on, and he did so masterfully as like to eventually got that just basically edited right there, because that dude would have went on for another fucking 5 or 10 minutes, no problem, without like anybody really raising an objection. So it's like at one point you see Keeley just like actually trying to create just restrain him from actually doing more shit.
It's like he kept trying to like, hey dude, like this is your time. Talk about the game. You do not want to talk about the game at all. He went to like took a shot at EA, who's paying for his game, like the loot boxes. Yeah, that whole thing was crazy. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. Still, remember this is the 4th year of it, and it's been getting better every year.
Yeah, it is.
But I remember the first year, we're like, oh man, 2 hours was too long. This year was the longest year yet. If you include the pre-show,
oh my
it
God.
was almost 3 hours and 20 minutes, which it didn't get over until almost 10:50 my time, and the show started at 7:30. So it was a very long show.
Yeah, it was.
Enjoyed it, but come on. And they didn't even, like, majority of the awards were just kind of rapid fire announced. So they actually handed out maybe 10 or a dozen awards or so out of like the 30 awards. But anyways, moving on to some of the announcements. I have an order here. First up, an order of when they were announced. First up, World War Z is a game that was announced to be coming out 4 years too late. Vacation Simulator. For the people that made Job Simulator, it's basically, from what I understand, it's like the Wii Sports VR games. It's kind of like the game everybody like has people play to show off the VR.
Yep.
It's getting, I guess, a sequel, Vacation Simulator. I believe that comes out soon. Accounting Plus is another VR game, and it's people. One of the creators from Rick and Morty helped make this game. That actually comes out on December 19th, so just a couple weeks. And then there was a tease from the new game from Software, and it said Shadow Strikes Twice, or something, I can't remember what it was, but it was like literally like a 8-second tease.
Yep.
And it was like, it showed like a weird, like blood and like a skull and rope, and yeah. So
it had to be it had to be something Bloodborne related. I'm sorry, it just kind of feels like it.
Yeah, and I mean, there was rumors around E3 that sounded like a Bloodborne 2 was in the works. So, and they said Dark Souls 3 was the last Dark Souls, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I doubt they're Dark Souls 3 is what came out last year. So I don't see a new one being announced already. And then a game from the creators of Firewatch, Campo Santos.
That looks actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, they new game shown off in the Valley of the Gods. It's coming out in 2019. And so kind of a funny side thing about this is I follow the Campo Santos Twitter page.
Of
and
course.
Yeah, Firewatch is a fucking awesome game, okay? So there's like a Japanese video games, like small Japanese video game site actually leaked this game, and this, like, I don't know if it was a trailer, but they leaked the story about this game like on Sunday or Monday before the Game Awards. And so it came out, so like Campo Santos was like, okay, well, here, like, they released something about the game. They released the name of the game, and I don't remember like what else they released. It wasn't a trailer, but it's some other details about the game. And the game, it was like up for like a day. I think it was like a few hours or a day. I can't remember where it is. And nobody saw it, or nobody like found out about it. So they pulled it back down, and this news has been out for a week, and nobody caught on to it.
Wow.
So
that's amazing
really cool
to think about. It was a Japanese small news site.
Yeah, so people are like, well, it's out, so they just released details about the game, and then there's nobody found out about it. So they just like, oh shit, no, just pull it back, guys, pull it back. All right, cool. So yeah, that was kind of a funny story. Yeah, that was awesome. But that game looks absolutely incredible. And then new heist for GTA 5 Online coming out. I think that was coming out like I think early next year. So that's the first time they released heist for the game since they released the initial heist back in early 2015. So it's kind of crazy. A few years later. And then we got a trailer for Champion's Ballad for the Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC Pack 2, Champion's Ballad. And kind of probably the shocker of the night, it was announced it was coming out later that night. So it's officially out now. Soul Calibur 6 was announced. Got a trailer for that coming out in 2018. Bayonetta, actually, you know what? I take that back. There might be something bigger than Champion Ballad coming out on Thursday night. Bayonetta 2 is being ported to the Switch, coming out February 16th, and it comes with excuse me, a digital copy of Bayonetta. But Reggie had just one more thing. They cut to a trailer. Fucking Bayonetta 3.
Another exclusive.
Yep, coming is officially in development. Sounds like it's probably fairly early, but it's Switch exclusive. So that was actually probably the shocker of the night.
Yeah, that was, honestly.
Yeah.
More so less like anything else of like the stuff that was unveiled that night. I mean, there were some other like great like trailers that we'll get a chance to talk into like a little bit though, but it's just kind of amazing though, just to see what Bayonetta has done like really as a franchise now, because it's like it went from, the single game that was released everywhere, like from the PS3, the Xbox 360 and stuff, and then like the developer, like Sega couldn't get this game like really any type of like any type of like exposure really to like warrant a sequel to like Bayonetta until like Nintendo went ahead and like just funded the project and stuff, and then we got Bayonetta 2 like on the Wii U, and now we have the rest of the Bayonetta trilogy just going through here on the Switch. I mean, that is amazing. Some of the best action games that come out in the past like 5-6 years or something like that is making its home around the Switch. That's a big exclusive lockup right there.
Yeah. A lot of people were upset about Bayonetta 2 being on the Wii U exclusive. Never coming to things else. But Nintendo 100% funded that game. That game was canceled until Nintendo brought it back. And it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense for them to bring it, we talked about it before, but I assume every game, every big Wii U exclusive is eventually going to come over to the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
especially a game like Bayonetta 2, where it only sold a few 100,000. It was a big disappointment for sales wise. I think it only ended up selling a few 100,000 copies.
I think this is like I think in hindsight, this is like about the third, possibly fourth, like port that we've gotten from like the Wii U in terms of like major releases. I mean, we got Rayman Legends Definitive Edition. That was one. Then you have Pokken Tournament DX. Then you have Mario Kart 8 right there, and there's Bayonetta 2 coming right behind it. So it's like, yeah, they are definitely bringing off like the Wii U ports here.
Yeah. And then they announced, Outlast 1 and 2 was announced. This wasn't in the show, but Outlast 1 and 2 is coming early next year to the Switch now too.
Oh, well, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, kind of got lost in the shuffle over the course of the week. Actually, before we move on and talk about the rest of the stuff, what did you think so far what we talked about from the Game Awards? What did you think some of the stuff that was shown off?
I actually thought that was pretty cool. I didn't know that. Oh man, that was so cool! Just like seeing the release, the trailer, for Soul Calibur 6, because it's been such a long time since the last entry of the game, and it was announced by like one of the co-creators and stuff like that for like the Tekken series and stuff like there, and it's like, jeez, man, I cannot wait until I get a chance to play another Soul Calibur. Just seeing how that is, or what systems the thing's going to be on. That's going to be interesting to see.
Who has better boot physics? Mortal Kombat or Soul Calibur? Or Dead or Alive?
I don't know. Never really noticed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I'm not a big Soul Calibur guy. I played the GameCube one a lot just because it had Link in it.
Yeah.
And I actually played the third one because I had I think it was Yoda on Xbox 360.
Oh, that was 4.
Was that 4? Yeah, 4. So I played that one. But yeah, it's mainly because of the character. I never really played him because of Soul Calibur. I just played him because of the characters. So people have been talking about, if there's like side characters who they can be, which can be pretty fun. Like maybe Kratos for PlayStation. You can do like Marcus Phoenix with the chainsaw gun and Xbox, I guess. I don't know what you do. Nintendo has like a million characters they can probably do that would fit well in a Soul Calibur game if they did that. But anything else kind of stick out for you? For what else we talked about before we move on to the rest of the stuff?
Well, let's see. Other than like say the Soul Calibur 6 and stuff, definitely the From Software trailer. That was interesting. I mean, that was the first initial thing I saw to where it actually got me a little bit interested. It's like 8-second trailers. Okay, what the fuck is this now? And it's like, other than that, the Bayonetta stuff, obviously, well, that was a big hit with me because it's like I literally, when I was in my reclining chair, just like go for it. I just see the announcement. It's like, yes, and all of a sudden I just straightened my fucking right arm while putting my arm in the air because, of course, I did. But up until that point, there were some pretty good announcements right there. But anyway,
yeah. I mean, I think the Bayonetta thing was really cool. The From Software thing, I think that's cool. I'm excited for the people that like those games. I'm never going to touch a From Software game ever again after the hour I spent trying to beat the first guy in Bloodborne and couldn't do it. In the Valley of the Gods, of all the things that was announced, is probably the thing I'm most excited to play. Because Firewatch was a fantastic game, and I pretty much whatever they make from now until they're just no longer good anymore, I'm going to buy their shit as soon as I can. I'm going to give them money the second that game comes out for pre-order or pre-purchase, whatever. Because, they're that good. And I don't know if they release anything other than Firewatch, honestly. Champions Ballad. I thought that, we talked about it last week, and I mean, it made the most sense to have that game. The game was, it's supposed to come out in December. Wasn't really any other time I didn't think there would be a direct this month, especially with they've been big supporters of the Game Awards. And Jeff Keighley. So it made the most sense for that to be the day they announced it, the biggest audience, to like, hey guys, don't forget Breath of the Wild came out and it was amazing, and like new content coming soon. This is the biggest audience they're gonna get. And but the fact that it was that later tonight, I'm like, okay, like I heard people talking about that, like when they were like, people were predicting things like, oh, I can see them coming out. I'm like, man, maybe like next week, but didn't see that coming. And I actually downloaded and I played a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And fuck, it's hard, man.
Oh,
it's
I know.
really hard. Oh man, like so you get like a weapon and it drops you down to a quarter of the health. You can't unequip it. If you unequip it, you have to start all over, and you have to go to 4 different camps, kill enemies there, and it unlocks a shrine. There's 4 shrines in the Great Plateau.
Okay.
And I beat the first camp, and I went to the first shrine, and I can't fucking beat the shrine, man. It's so hard. I spent like 2 hours trying to beat the first shrine, and it's not very long. I mean, there's like different layers to it, but like everything. So as long as you have this weapon equipped, you get kill after 1 hit kill for you.
Whoa, that's cool.
But that weapon kills enemies in 1 hit too. So, but after like 3 or 4 uses, it like has to recharge.
I see.
But you can't unequip it. So unless you can drop if you can drop it, but then like it resets everything, you have to start all over again.
That sucks.
So yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. I'm gonna have to have like Justin come over and just beat the fucking shrines for me so I can move on to the next thing. Probably it's gonna have to happen. Because I can't do it. He's right. He's probably already beat it all 100%. And got all the uniforms and shit. Got the sweet ass motorcycle. We didn't even mention that. Link gets a motorcycle.
You know, he gets a motherfucking motorcycle. I can't wait to get that.
Yeah, I think you get it after you beat the Champions Ballad. So that's interesting. But yeah, overall, all that shit was pretty cool. But moving on to some of the other stuff that was announced. I think actually the coolest trailer that I've maybe seen in a long time was Witchfire. So it started off and it looked like this like kind of like gloomy walking simulator. And it says from the creators from Vanishing Edith Carter, I think it is, or something like that.
Ethan Carter,
thank you. And which is a walking simulator. So like it showed like some person just walking. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's a walking simulator, whatever. And then all of a sudden they pull up a shotgun like Doom. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's also from the creators of Gears of War and Bulletstorm. And then all of a sudden like you're teleporting around and like blowing up fucking enemies. It was like a 45-second trailer. But a really good 45-second trailer. Enough that I remember it and I'm like, okay. All right. I'm in. All right. That's cool with me. I am interested in this game now. And I don't even know if we've had any official video game. Like, actual, like, I'm not one to get super excited about game about the game being shown. Like the CG trailers doesn't really do a whole lot for me. But I'm like, okay, that was a good one. The next up, Joseph, we talked about already, but A Way Out. Got a small little trailer for that one. And official release date, March 23rd. So that's coming out fairly soon. We got a trailer for the game Dreams, which is from Media Molecule, the Little Big Planet people. That game hasn't been talked about in a few years now, but we got a trailer for that. Still don't understand what the fuck that game is. And then it sounds like it's like a 3D like you can do whatever the fuck you want in a 3D world. I don't know. But there's like
it's like a more evolved form of like Little Big Planet, pretty much.
Yeah, like a 3D version of that, almost. But like they showed like, hey, here's like a top-down old like Raiden flying game, and then like here's a 3D platformer. Like, okay, so yeah, like that's supposed to be coming out in 2018. Yeah, I don't fucking know what the hell that game is. Still, I imagine we'll know more soon. But their game showed up from the people that made Payday 1 and 2. It's called GTFO. It looks like basically Payday 1 and 2, but like you're in like space or something, and you're going around and you're like raiding caves, and then you're getting attacked by aliens and creatures. So that game actually looked kind of cool. It's a 4-player kind of co-op game, and like in Payday you get the 4-player co-op, and you rob a bank. You have to get the money and get out and like get away from the cops. This looks like that, but with alien creatures. So yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna play it, but the concept looks kind of cool. Then the last couple things was Metro Exodus. We got a trailer for that. No gameplay shown, but sounds like still sounds like you're in Russia. Talk a little about RTM, who was the character from the first 2 games. That's coming out late. They said fall 2018. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but I'm hoping that's true because I love the Metro series so far. So I'm super excited for a new one. I didn't think we'd ever get one until this past E3. So, excuse me. But last but certainly not least, we got a whole 8-minute trailer for Death Stranding.
Yep.
Speaking of, trying to, I don't know what the fuck's going on. This game is Dreams, the Dreams trailer, but times infinity.
Yep.
So Norman Reedus, they're in water, and then there's these weird invisible creatures that can sense their breathing, and then they have this weird fetus thing, and then one of the guys with Norman Reedus dies, so then Norman Reedus gets the baby fetus thing, and then something happens, and somehow now all of a sudden the baby is now inside Norman Reedus' body in his stomach, he absorbed the baby, and we zoom into his mouth and we see the baby in his mouth,
and the baby gives a thumbs up.
Yeah. So I don't know what's happening, but I'm all in. You know?
That's quintessentially what I thought. I said to you during our little Facebook Messenger chat, it's yeah, you know what? This is probably my most anticipated game now.
Yeah. I don't I love Kojima. Hideo Kojima is probably my favorite game developer ever. No, he is. But with Konami, he was always kind of holding them back a little bit, and I don't know if that was for the best or not. I was kind of on board with Death Stranding never being a game, and it's once a year we get an 8-minute trailer, and it just gets weirder and weirder every year, and that's just the game. That's it. It's just basically in 10 years we're gonna have an hour and a half long movie. Almost of just small trailers, but apparently Zach played 4 or 5 hours of it. But yeah, man, I don't. Yeah, I'm in. Whatever, Kojima. You got me because of Metal Gear, but oh shit, I don't fucking know what's going on. Apparently, it all makes sense in the game. The exec that played it said everything makes sense from that trailer. I'm sure in a weird way, knowing Kojima, everything in the end makes sense with Metal Gear Solid. So it probably will. I just want to be in the room. I want to be a fly in the wall, when they were making this trailer and talking about it. I want to be the guy. Excuse me. That was designing the CG trailer. He's all right, then he's gonna pass out, and then he's gonna wake up, and then they're gonna zoom in, and the baby is gonna be inside Norman Reedus' mouth. I want to be there for that meeting when that happened. I just want to listen to him have a meeting for an hour with his crew, and just what the fuck is going on? This is the crazy shit we're seeing. What's the crazy shit we're that's getting tossed to the side? I don't remember back in the day, with Metal Gear Solid 2, they wanted to make it if you died, the game would melt inside your fucking console.
What?
So who knows? Yeah, this was a real thing. I think I hit my mic. But with Metal Gear Solid 1 or 2, Kojima wanted the game would melt into a red blood liquid if you died in the game. And basically would ruin the game, so they couldn't die in the game, and Konami is no, absolutely not, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for it, and that's what I mean. Maybe Konami did some good things there, but yeah, Kojima, man, good for you, bro. You got my money, but what about you, Gables?
Yeah, I'm basically all in too, dude. That's just fucking incredibly interesting. Just the aspect. I just want to see where the hell the thing leads to next. It's nothing makes sense, but yet at the same time, everything makes sense with that fucking trailer.
There's actually some like correlations between the other two trailers that they released in the last couple of years, and like Kojima said, if you watch the old trailers, you can see like tie-ins to it, and there's actually some. I would recommend checking out some YouTube videos of it and like looking it up. But yeah, there's definitely like people have like done some like analysis of it and shown like how all three of these kind of make sense and all tie in together. So I mean, there's a correlation there. I don't.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's. Yeah, I don't know, man, but fuck yeah, man. But moving on to actually, that's all the news. No, I should say all. That was a lot of news. It's a big week for games, for news. But jumping in the games, real quick for me, personally haven't played a lot this week. One, just because I've been busy with workout, like I said, talking about at the beginning of the show. And two, I've been kind of just playing more of the same. Played a bunch more Fire Emblem Warriors. I'm like chapter 9 or 10 now. Liking it a lot still. I think I'm fairly close to finishing it, probably about halfway, maybe a little more. Keep playing it. Kind of, if you, I'll talk more about probably when I finish it, but I talked about a decent amount last week. Another game I did play though was a game called Hobbs. I don't know, Hobbs. I'm not really sure. I played a couple hours of it. It's like a $15-$20 downloadable game. It's on PS4, Steam, and Xbox One. But everybody I kept hearing, oh, it's like if you like Hyper Light Drifter, you're gonna like this game a lot. But I'm like, okay, cool. It feels it's got some of the combat is very much Hyper Light Drifter like. More like a lot of combat rolls and hack and slash, and just kind of being smart with the way you attack and everything. But it's not super hard though. Like Hyper Light Drifter was a very challenging game. This one just, I don't know. I feel like you can be a little more hack and slashy and you'll be fine. The battling there's really no purpose to battling at all. Like you can just avoid combat altogether. But kind of the core concept of the game is like, I don't really know what the story is. But like basically you're like this creature and you have this like robot like friend and something happens to you and you get like this weird like plant spits on you or something on your arm, and your robot friend cuts your arm off to prevent the poisoning from going into your rest of your body.
Okay.
And he gives you his robot arm. So now you have this robot arm and you can use it to like like solve puzzles and move the environment around. And it feels more like Zelda-like, I think, than it does Hyper Light Drifter-like. Just from like it's more puzzly based than anything from that aspect. But it's not like challenging in any way. The combat's pointless and not challenging. The puzzles are, I think, fairly easy, and it didn't really grab. I played the couple hours I played, it didn't really grab me. Like it's just, I feel like I'm just kind of going with the motions of the game. I'm not really challenged by anything. I don't dislike the game, but it's just like there's nothing super intriguing about the game. Like everything is like
average.
Okay. Yeah, like I would say above average. Like everything is well made, but the whole package itself is just like it's like I don't know, it's not really inspiring like or pushing me to do anything like to want to go back to it. Like I think it's I would check out some trailers for it, maybe read some reviews to see if maybe it's more your thing, but it just feels like it's like a combination of a bunch of different things put together well, but like just I don't like there's nothing there to like, I don't know how to explain it, but there's like it's just an average game, and there's no really cool like concept that want to like go back and play more of it. Like, so I don't think I'm gonna play any more of it just because like, and like I said, it's not a bad game. It's just like it's a well made game. It's just
just average at best.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I feel bad because I feel like I'm kind of shitting on it a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm the guy who played like 40 hours of Mass Effect Andromeda and hated it, so I don't know what it says about me. But yeah, that's really all I've been playing this week. What about you, Gables?
Well, like you, I also kind of like had little things to like to play really this week. I mean, the later part of the week, I did a little bit of like a glute, but I'm still kind of playing a little bit of Pokemon Ultra Sun. You know, I've at least gone through, and I'm on the third island still. I have tried to experiment a little bit with the online stuff. I decided to do like I did with some of the previous games, like in Ultra Sun, like in Sun and Moon, and like say even to a certain extent, like a Pokemon X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, where it's like I'm doing Wonder Trade stuff, trying to get the type of creatures that I want for the rest of my party to fill out. So I did that. I managed to get a female Salandit over Wonder Trade, which is actually useful enough to where I can use it for my party, amazingly enough. And I have a Poplio now that I had gotten through, I believe, a trade. I had actually traded my Alola Marowak that I had, which I ended up learning that a lot of the basic abilities he would probably not learn at all unless I went through like talk to a random NPC character at the near the end of the game. So I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna be going forth and putting him in the box. So I'm gonna trade him off. And so I got the Pokemon that I wanted. So it's like now I'm going to be going through my next tenure inside Ultra Sun. I'm going to be going to like Po Town to try to take on a lot of the Team Skull grunts and stuff. But I'm going to be leveling up first with my other party members that I need to level up, like my Salandit, my Poplio. But other games that I've played, like last night, I decided to play a little bit more Destiny 2. I was playing with my coworker from work, and so it's like I started off a new character. I didn't go with my Titan. I decided to go with my Hunter. And you know what? Going through the beginning aspects of a Destiny 2, you know, it's like it was actually pretty fast to go through that. You can only maybe go through like maybe 10 minutes if you know what you're doing, maybe 10, 15 minutes. So once I got the opening sequence stuff and the first campaign mission done, we were able to join each other, and we were just doing like a couple of random, kind of like a bunch of like random these like public events and stuff that you can collect little bits and pieces and stuff. What they've done, really a little bit of an improvement, is there's a lot more harder enemies that come across, but the difference being is you can actually damage them, but you can also, for like the public events, you can go through and like easily get killed in like 1 or 2 shots as well. So there were plenty of like high level characters alongside us. So we were able to get a couple like loot box. We were able to get a couple like loot stuff and this and that. Automatically, just playing through a couple hours of Destiny 2, I've noticed right away that the level of progression for the game is increased higher than what it was in the original game. I mean, you are earning good stuff really quickly. I kind of appreciate that, really, because it feels like I'm constantly being rewarded with more items, more types of weapons, more types of like various things that are useful in the beginning portion of the game. At this moment, we are like around level 8 right now, and that was like for the first night of actually playing stuff. That's actually pretty
nice.
That's actually pretty fast in comparison to some stuff. But I went through and started leveling up some bits of my Hunter, and I'm actually kind of surprised at the options that you had. It's not like in Destiny 1 where you had to fill up certain like spheres and stuff in order to try to get all the major like abilities and stuff for your characters in general. But you are given these type of skill points that you can invest in certain aspects of like your character in general. Like my Hunter actually has it has an ability or something like that. That it's one of the first abilities you get. You press L1 and R1 together, and you basically have this fucking staff that you could go through and just start just waylaying people. You can jump at the sky and just do this. He has access to a triple jump now, and then all of a sudden it's like the later portions of the thing. There's like 2 other separate and like skill brackets now that I'm unlocked that I'm going to be going through this, and I can't believe I'm saying this though, but the first couple hours of Destiny 2, you know, it feels a hell of a lot better than what I've done in Destiny 1 so far. You know, it makes me feel like I want to play the game. It is definitely faster in terms of progression, of earning stuff that make you feel like you're actually achieving something without having to grind intently for hours on end, like we both had to do in one way or another. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else that from our playthrough last night. Yeah, we're basically still like in the middle of like the campaign stuff, but yeah, the stuff that was actually capped off that we couldn't gain access to was through the multiplayer aspect because of the whole Temple of Osiris thing releasing not too long ago.
Oh yeah, it just came out Tuesday.
Yeah, it came out Tuesday and stuff, and we still had to. I think it was still like a download, like a 5 gigabyte or some update or something for Destiny 2 even before we started. It was like, oh god, another fucking update for Destiny. But I really had a fun time, and I'm probably going to play a little bit more Destiny 2. I hope, and my main hope is to have that game finished, at least by our Game of the Year consideration stuff. But let's see, the final game that I've actually played for this week is something that I finished this morning, and that's Kamiko.
Ooh, okay.
I actually went through, managed to start the game last Saturday. So after we got done recording, I decided to play a little bit of like Kamiko, and I went through most of the game in one sitting. And so I basically gave the game like a little bit of a rest because I kept getting like a little bit frustrated at the last portion of the last world or something. And I returned to it this day, like today. And I finished off the rest of the stuff. I faced off. There's like one annoying little thing that I had to use with the key and stuff to try to navigate throughout this these little enemy path lines and stuff. And so I go forth. I face the boss. There's like inside like Kamiko, there's like two forms of this boss, this final boss, pretty much. You have one that's sort of super easy, you know what you can do and stuff to avoid them, and like if you time the patterns all nice and right. Then you have a second form to where at the first time I just died at the second boss because it's like, oh okay, this is going to be doing this, and you got to somehow defeat enemies, gather resources, and then all of a sudden avoid all these random like objects like these fucking swords or like these big old beams and all this other stuff. But I really enjoyed my time playing Kamiko. You know, this felt like a quality game release. The combat was solid. It was simple. The exploration events for each like world felt like they were fleshed out to an extent. I can understand people making comparisons to Hyper Life Drifter with this game. It emulates some of the best parts about that game, and it did it in a bite-sized chunk to where it leaves you with a feeling of wanting to play more of this game. And I gotta say, the soundtrack to this game sounds fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It's really crazy to believe this game is a $5 game. This is a $5 game on the Switch's eShop that oozes with quality. It's like the only complaint that I've heard from like other people who've played it is stuff they wish they could have been longer. But you know what? You have access to two other characters besides the first character you go as. But you can quintessentially morph it into like maybe a 4 or 5 hour game if you choose. I played through the game for the initial hour and stuff, and it's like, you know what? I'll play through again some other time. It's a game I want to go back and replay. So, like any type of game that I have downloaded and stuff, I just delete it off the Switch once I'm done with it, and that's pretty much what I did. Tried a little bit with another character. It's like, you know what? I'll come back to this. And I got to admit, you know, I think Kamiko may be one of those games I will include on my list this year. It was that fantastic. I only played and finished this game like a little over an hour, and it's like in that hour, it impressed me a lot.
Yeah. I think my final game was like 55 minutes, something like that. It's not a very long game, and
no,
it was funny. Justin finished it too earlier in the, I think back in the summer.
Yep.
And you know, like Justin and I, we both got like you got stumped at the last form of the final boss for a while, just because we didn't know there's a special attack you can do.
Yep.
Like your power up attack. Like Justin and I.
Oh yeah.
The entire game, I didn't even know it was a thing, so I never used it. And he was the same way. So I eventually had to look up a YouTube video. I'm like, how the hell did you beat this final boss? I'm fighting for like 10 minutes now.
The
and
only
I can't attack them. And then I watched a YouTube video like, oh, there's like a whole attack you can do.
Yeah, I knew I could do that from the get-go because when the first time the game, it sort of feels like kind of Zelda-ish, when it comes to like the first world you got to go through, the first stage. So I held down the B button by chance, and I noticed that once I started doing that, my meter for magic started going down, and that's what you use for currency inside the game to get past like certain obstacles or getting certain items from chests. And so I would hardly use that unless I absolutely had to. So for the final boss, it kind of stumped me too, until finally I just realized, it's like, oh, wait a minute. I placed 2 and 2 together. It's like, I'm gathering resources from enemies that are respawning constantly. Let's see if I can do that. So I hold down B, I did damage to the boss, and it's like, yep, that's exactly what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. That game was really cool. That's I'm glad to hear that you liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Don't know if it'll be on my list, but it's definitely up there. It's gonna be it's in the top 15 probably.
Yeah.
No, that's a really cool game. That was a kind of one of those big out of the nowhere games for me this year. Same with Destiny 2. Not really out of nowhere, but just from expectation wise was a really cool game. And I think that you brought up a good point with the whole leveling up and all that. Like that was the biggest issue with Destiny, was everything felt like a slog, and the world wasn't the worlds and the environments in the first game were just bland, boring, and there was nothing to do. In this game, there's constantly shit going on.
Yep.
And you're constantly leveling up really fast. Your power level is rising really fast too. So you're constantly like, even if you're not like, you might not be leveling up super fast, especially as you get into the teens. But your power level goes up constantly. So you're still progressing at a pretty rapid pace. Like I actually, I think I got to like the level cap, probably 2/3 through the 2/3 into the main campaign.
I kind of feel like I'm gonna do the same thing, honestly.
Yeah, like I was doing all the side stuff, going out and doing like public events, and I wanted to do those things. Those things were fun. So yeah, that game was really well made, and I mean they had the combat was always there. They just had to figure out the rest, and it feels like this one they for the most part they did. I know there's a lot of people are not too happy with the Osiris DLC that released earlier this week. I guess it's pretty lackluster for at the price point it's at. I heard it's only a couple hours, and it's $20, and it doesn't really do too much other than raises the level cap to 25.
It kind of sounds like kind of the first DLC for the original Destiny. That didn't last too long either, and people were disappointed by that too. So what it sounds like to me, it's probably the perfect game to pick back up like around 6 months from now.
Yeah, maybe I can see this could be like a Destiny 2, maybe getting like the Destiny effect, where like next year they're gonna release like a Game of the Year one that comes with like the DLC pack plus maybe the new like Taken King like big expansion. I'd be thinking,
I would be disappointed if Activision wouldn't try doing something like that. That would be, that's just typical of them. Yeah, they would do that.
Yeah, like I replayed it. I beat a good chunk of that with Tim Nerves from Talk Ship during Extra Life. That was fun to go back and do and replay some old content and stuff. But I feel like for me, like that'd be a time when I could jump back into it. Is probably when the new big expansion comes out for it. That's probably when I'll pick that game back up again.
I got the feeling I'll probably do the same thing. I'm just gonna finish up the campaign. I'm not gonna go ahead and like do anything really extravagant, but I want to see how powerful my hunter becomes.
Yeah, I think my final level was like in the around 230 or so. My power level. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad to hear you're liking it. Yeah, games are cool, guys. Your games are cool. So yeah, it's been a fun year. It's funny. Like I was telling Gables for the show, but it's like for the first time like all year, like I don't feel like I don't have like this anxiety or this pressure on me where I'm like I have like this insane backlog of games I want to play. Like I have the Champions Ballad that I want to play that I'm worried I'm not good enough to beat, and then Fire Emblem Warriors, which I'm just kind of like leisurely playing, So it's kind of cool and kind of sucks at one hand because like I love playing games and it's kind of sucky that I don't have a game like some games to jump into, but yeah, it's kind of at the same time, it's kind of nice where it's like, I'm not really, I'm not really trying to cram anything in or trying to play catch up or trying to play keep up with anything for the first time and probably since like fucking March, February, basically since Horizon came out in like late February.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. But I think that might wrap up the show for the week, Gables.
Yeah.
Talk like we said, probably here in a few weeks or so, we'll be jumping into kind of our 2017 like year. We're probably gonna do like a year review show here in like maybe probably 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out. Obviously, like I said at the beginning of the show, work something out with Justin, try to get him on the show for those, and then obviously game of the year stuff, which also should mean for us, Gables, we'll get a week off.
Yeah, we will.
That's gonna be nice. I love recording with you every week, but goddamn it, every now and again, I need a week off. We get 2 weeks. We get 2 weeks off a year. E3 because we record a bunch of shit, and then we get game of the year. So we're coming up for I think a well-deserved week off. But yeah, no, it's exciting times. But thank you guys for listening. If you want to hear more from us, we are on Facebook, have a page and group. It's Drunk Nerds Podcast on there. So like and join us on Twitter at Drunk Nerds Pod. Follow us on there. On YouTube, Drunk Nerds Podcast. Subscribe to us on there. The show goes up on there. Give us a thumbs up if you listen to us on there. And like I said, subscribe to the show or the page. And then on Twitch, we are Drunk Nerds Podcast. Follow us on there and send us friend requests. And also iTunes on there as well. Subscribe to us, Drunk Nerds Podcast. Subscribe on there and leave us a 5-star review if you can. And 4 stars is also fine. Leave us a nice little comment. We really appreciate those. More thumbs up, more people join us, follow us, like us, friend us, whatever. The more publicity we get, the more it helps us, the more people get to listen to our show. The more it helps us out. We don't make any money off of this. We just like people. We just do this for fun, and we like more people to hear it because we like doing it, and we think other people will like it too. So, but yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gable. So until next week, everyone, game on and have yourself a fantastic week.
Cheers. Boys. Excuse me. Few too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.